So this communism realm of social ownership.
Welcome to the Adam and Sheridan Show video podcast numero 10. What is it?
Numero
How do you
10?
say 10 in
Diez.
Spanish? Diez. Numero 10.
Numero 10.
We
or in
were...
Chinese.
Who speaks Chinese?
Sure.
Oh, a billion people?
Billion Chinese,
okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Several billion, I believe. All right, we have to...
There's over a billion people in
start
China.
the timer.
Yeah, start the timer.
Start the timer.
We do
All right.
a very informal video podcast.
We do a very informal video podcast, so if you want to see our formal radio podcast, which is obviously extremely well put together, thought out...
Meticulously noted.
Professional from start to finish, wrfalp.wordpress.com. We're on SoundCloud now.
Yes.
Check us out.
And we have more than just a podcast. We actually have, it goes actually
Radio
within
show.
a 3-mile radius of
Yeah.
radio program. So 107.9 if you're in Jamestown.
Yep,
Give a listen.
absolutely.
Okay, what we talked about mainly on this week's radio show was the Supreme Court decisions on the Voting Rights Act of 65, Prop 8 in California, and the DOMA.
DOMA,
Act.
yeah.
So
And that was a big thing because the Defense of Marriage Act was basically something that said marriage is between one man and one woman, and so no federal benefits would be extended to any same-sex couple. And people forget that. It's not just we want the word. No, we want the survivor's benefits if you're in the military. We want the health care. We want a lot of stuff. Not we, of course, because I'm heterosexual and I benefited from being.
Although we are legally married for tax reasons. Just for tax reasons. And now, finally, we can, make good on those tax things. Did you know there was over 1,000 benefits that were being denied? I'm sorry. Maggie's going to kill me.
I know.
And my girlfriend's going to kill me, too.
Yeah.
No, there was over 1,000 benefits that were being denied to gay couples in these 12 states that have legalized it.
And that's a lot. That's a tangible difference in people's lives. And so please, understand that this is a big win. This is going to change people's lives right now, but it's not a win. It's not a win for the judicial process for two reasons. One, in the case of Prop 8, they just said, not our deal.
Right.
Don't bring it up to us.
Which in this particular case,
lower court.
In this particular case, happens to be a good thing because that means now that Prop 8 is gone. Which before Prop 8 was it made gay marriage illegal. Now the lower court said that was unconstitutional in California.
Yeah.
So now that paves the way for California to be
and marriages
gay marriage state.
Yeah, and gay marriages are going to resume very, very soon, which is a wonderful thing. But
what didn't it do?
What it didn't do is actually state that the federal government could intercede and try and get benefits for people that wouldn't be allowed them in other ways, which...
Well, basically,
they did away with that with the Voting Rights Act too.
Well, but what they didn't do was say in those 38 states in which gay marriage is illegal, it basically said that's fine. You can go ahead and discriminate all you want. We don't care.
That's okay.
There was no ruling on that.
Yeah, and this is kind of the same thing. So it was a great win for the turning tides of social opinion because they forced that decision of DOMA being unconstitutional on the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court dodged the Prop 8 decision, and it completely messed up.
On purpose.
The decision on the Voting Rights Act, which is basically the most...
He just burped, which I think is still constitutional.
I did, yeah. So far. But it's an act, specifically two sections, Section 4 and 5 of the Act, which say... in the middle?
I drink sugar-free now. Because I was gaining weight.
Aspartame.
Yeah.
Cancer. So,
As long as I'm not fat. So...
Is that a joke?
No, yes.
I work out. Come on.
No, I wasn't saying against you. I try. So the Voting Rights Act was a law that said a certain number of extremely historically racist states and some cities and counties in other states had to ask the Department of Justice, what was called pre-clearance, if they could pass a law that pertained to voting. And the reason is because these states were passing laws which made it more difficult for minorities to vote.
And so this was based on 40-year-old criteria, which had been kind of adjusted and renewed a couple of times when this had been renewed, when this law had been renewed by Congress. So what the Supreme Court did was to strike that down, saying, you're using too old criteria. So until you can get new criteria, Congress, which so smoothly works together, until you get new criteria, it's a free-for-all. And Texas enacted redistricting and voter ID laws, which were shot down in 2012 because they were too racist. Gotta love Texas.
So one of the things that we wanted to really point out, not to rain on anyone's parade, because it's fantastic that gay couples now have these rights, but the very same institution that gave gays federal benefits has taken away rights from African Americans and other minorities in these southern states. It's made it more dangerous for the right to vote, and not only that, but it was a 5-4 decision.
Yeah.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg is getting very old. If she passes away, or if any of the moderate judges passes away, and there's another judge appointed, and just because Obama's president doesn't mean that he's going to appoint a liberal judge.
Yeah.
He's one of the most conservative presidents we've ever had. This very same ruling could be yanked away. So instead of celebrating the Supreme Court's ruling, what we should be doing is saying, let's not leave it up to the Supreme Court to decide what our democratic rights are.
Yes.
What the Constitution plainly says our rights are. Let's have a workers' revolution, or at the very least a workers' party formed in this country to basically, enshrine what the democratic rights already are. They're already out there, but not have it be the Supreme Court to decide which ones they're going to allow us to have and which ones they're not going to allow us to have.
You had this regal off in the distance look for a second. You really did. But
no, I was blinded by the light.
Yeah,
wrapped up like a juice.
And some of these laws affect poor Americans, no matter what the race, because voter ID laws, like the ones enacted in Texas, sometimes cost money. So you have to go to a specific place, produce your birth certificate, and then you have to pay for identification. And a lot of Americans, as Adam is going to discuss, don't have the savings to quite accomplish that. So, Adam?
Wow, you almost kicked me in the groin.
As I had meant to, but failed.
I always wear a groin guard. Always. And I think that these should be on sale. I'm going to read here from, because you never know. When you're out in public, there's so much flying around, you never know when your groin's going to get hit.
You never know.
This is clock's
ticking.
Very quickly. I just want to read something from the World Socialist website. This is an article that says,
Whiz.
Study shows most Americans have inadequate savings. Duh. Like we didn't know that.
I have adequate savings. My savings are large. My savings are
Don't interrupt. This is by Shannon Jones. Very quickly, I just want to read a quick paragraph here. It says, quote, the online lender Cashnet.com reported that of 1,000 people it recently surveyed, 22% had less than $100 saved in case of an emergency. Another 46% had less than $800 to cover unexpected expenses. Said Megan Staton, Cashnet Director of Marketing, quote, the scarcity of rainy day savings remains a concern for too many Americans, and it hasn't improved since last year, end quote. This is outrageous.
That's one car breakdown with an expensive part if you have free rides for the duration of the repair.
Yeah,
that's not to say
$800. That's nothing.
That's nothing.
It's
absolutely nothing.
This is a precarious situation, and I think it has revolutionary implications. Because how many people are going to be running into situations in which they're going to need savings, not have it, and go, I can't take it anymore.
And as we talked about, I can't remember on this show or on the radio show, but as we talked about, we are number one in wealth, the United States, but we are 27th in middle class wealth.
Right. It's all at the top.
Yeah, it's at the top. It's not trickling down like we was promised.
All right, that has been the video podcast number 10.
Number 10?
Yeah, this is coming. I believe this is going to be our first July show.
Yeah.
So happy July.
Yeah.
You can catch us at WRFALP.com or WRFALP.wordpress.com. Email us at adamandsheridanshow@gmail.com, and we are available on Facebook and Twitter.
Yep. So, stay active. Something else. All right, bear with me. I got to get my timer going.
I'm going to read more.
Screen timeout after 2 minutes. So we're talking about SCOTUS?
You're going to talk about SCOTUS. I'm going to talk about study shows most Americans have inadequate savings.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
And I'm going to read directly from the World Socialist website.
How dare you?
And I'm going to go like this.
Rebel. Yeah, that's out of frame. You might want to shame people.
Or no, shame the, not people, but the fact of.
Factoid.
Okay.
All right, fine. You be original.
No.
Whatever. Duh.
Well, you know.
Whatever.
I don't want to be redundant.